Hello, need to check if this thing's on. Is the mic on? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the mic's on. So, hello everyone. This is your local gear metalhead, also known on YouTube as Serious Black. But today I will not be going as that. I go as Dodds when it comes to raiding online. So hopefully you like this. My mic is turned on, isn't it? My mic's on. So let's start with a story. I Love Him not by Wolfstar. I Love Him Wolfstar by Zuka_Avatar. Intro. Warning this fanfic is very sad and contains SH, swearing and homosexuality. If any of these make you uncomfortable, don't read this fanfic. This is set in modern times, but there is still magic. 41 words. Intro, part 1. Page 2. A knock on the door. It had been a few days since the Marauders finished 5th year, and James was sitting on the sofa watching TV when he heard a knock at the front door. James paused the TV and got up slowly, wondering who could be knocking on his door at 11 at night. He opened the front door and was shocked to see his best friend on his doorstep. Sirius was in a state that James had never seen him in before. He had tears streaming down his face, bruises all over him, and a bloody nose. He was shivering like mad. His hair had been past his shoulders the last time James had seen him, but now it was short, cut almost to his scalp. "What happened?" asked James, who was extremely worried about his friend. "They found out." Sirius' voice shook as he spoke. "My parents found out about me and Remus." Sirius sniffled as he fell forward on his friend's arms, more tears running down his face and dripping down his chin. "Oh," James breathed. He knew Sirius's parents were bad, but he didn't think they would actually hurt him. Him and Sirius stayed in the doorway I think they meant like. I'll start again from that sentence. Him and Sirius stayed in the doorway like that for quite some time. Eventually, James guided Sirius to the sofa and sat him down. He wanted to give him a glass of water and came back quickly. Sirius took the glass from James as he tried to regulate his breathing. "What did those bastards do to you?" asked James angrily. I was an idiot," Sirius sighed as the tears started to run again. He had never cried this much in front of anyone before. He'd never cried this much before, full stop. "No, I'm sure that whatever you did wasn't your fault." "It was the letters. I left them out." Sirius attempted to wipe all of his tears away. "What letters?" James asked. "My letters from Mooney, and a half letter that I was writing him. I stopped halfway through to go downstairs to eat with my mother and Regulus. My father was eating in the study, and halfway through dinner he called Regulus through. He looked worried, but who wouldn't? Going to talk to my father. I thought nothing of it." Sirius took a deep breath and another sip of his water. James put his arm around Sirius and indicated for him to continue. "After about 15 minutes, my mother was called through to my father's study by Regulus. He looked sad and he was holding back tears, and I started to get worried. After a while, no one came back into the dining room, so I headed upstairs. As I passed my father's study, the door opened and my mother told me to come in. There were my father's letters on there were my letters on my father's desk." Sirius stopped to try and prevent himself from crying. "It's okay if you want to stop. You can finish later," James said. "No, I'm okay," Sirius sniffled. "My father stood up from behind his desk and stood beside my mother. Regulus was backed into a corner, looking terrified. I was terrified. My mother asked if I knew what the letters were from. I stupidly lied and said that I didn't know where they came from. My father punched me in the face." Sirius's hand reached up and touched his nose. He said he knew I was lying, but I said again that I didn't know what he was talking about. He punched me again, but I stood up straight and repeated myself. My father took a step forward and spat in my face. He called me I'm not going to say that word because it's a slur, and I'm uncomfortable saying that word, so I'm not going to say it. But you guys can kind of like read it. I'll probably put it on the screen. Let me continue reading it, sorry. After he looked over at Regulus, who was now in tears, and told him to do it now. I was confused as he took out his wand, still crying, but then I realised. And that's where that chapter ends. That was part 2, guys. That was 660 words I've just read. Should we do the next one? I'm probably just going to go through this entire thing because it's only like 9 pages long. He stopped talking midway through. I'm sorry, but it really triggers me when like a writer forgets to put, even if I know it's like not their fault most of the time, and like they just forget to do something, but like when a writer forgets to put another quotation mark, like when they're doing a story and someone's talking, that really triggers me. I'm so sorry, that really triggers me. This chapter is called Crucio, and this is not Regulus. This is Sirius talking again, by the way. There was let me takes a minute. There was a flash of light, but I just felt all the pain. I could hear someone somewhere in the room sobbing, but I didn't know who. The pain was unbearable. James, my own brother, cast an unforgivable curse on me. I couldn't bear the pain, so I fell on my knees and curled up in a ball. Eventually he stopped, and I saw him fall at his knees. I didn't have enough time to compose what had happened before my father kicked me and asked again what the letters were. I told him that they were from my boyfriend, and he kicked me again and called me a slur. I'm not going to say that slur, sorry. Full stop. My mother said that she never wanted to see me again. My parents left the room and I was left there with Regulus. He tried to apologise, but I wouldn't listen. Eventually I was able to get up